Mr. Cullen.
Thank you, sir.
You're back on, and if you could address especially the comments brought up from the audit.
Thank you, sir.
And talk about your prevention, response, and preparedness program and that effectiveness.
Yes, sir.
Context. Thank you.
With respect to the 2012 Bureau of State audit of the OSPAF and our oil spill program, all recommendations in the audit report have been addressed and satisfactorily implemented. Most of the recommendations were for OSPR to establish written agreements for coordinating important programmatic functions with external entities like the State Lands Commission and the Enforcement, Administration, and Information Technology branches at the Department of Fish and Wildlife. I'm going to move into the other questions, sir, on the post-spill improvements at OSPR, particularly after Costa Busan, Dubai Star. In our work, perhaps like firefighters, we plan and prepare for something that we hope never happens. Yet we can learn the most from actual disasters, oftentimes with the benefit of hindsight. The Costa Busan oil spill was just such an event for us here in California, allowing us to identify specific areas of improvement, including better coordination with local governments, a more robust volunteer program, a deeper bench of expertise in liaison and public information officer functions, faster and broader public communications, and expansion of the Oiled Wildlife Care Network to include wildlife search and collection. I am happy to report that OSPR has made significant improvements on all of these areas, as well as other areas of our operations in the past 6 years. We have worked more closely with local governments through drills, exercises, response management training, and outreach programs. Equipment grants totaling $750,000 have been funded for the protection of local economic sites, and we have established protocols for the evaluation of a local government on-scene coordinator. I will defer to Ms. Janelle Meyer from the City and County of San Francisco to provide a local's perspective on the value of this particular improvement. California now has protocols in the regional contingency plan for the use of non-wildlife spontaneous volunteers. This best practice is actively drilled and was used as a template for volunteer evaluation during the Deepwater Horizon spill in 2010. You have already heard from Dr. Zaccardi on program improvements in wildlife recovery and transportation and other OWCN programs since Costa Busan. We have trained additional staff to serve as liaison and public information officers, implemented an aggressive social media program leveraging Facebook and Twitter, along with a dedicated spill response website, to better push information and to integrate with local government public information officers. We have established policies to ensure that key incident command system positions, such as Wildlife Branch Director, Environmental Unit Leader, and Shoreline Cleanup Assessment Team Coordinator, will be staffed by trained OSPR staff or staff from another trustee agency, as trust responsibility cannot be, nor should be, delegated. The Dubai Star spill response at Anchorage 9 in San Francisco 2 years after Costa Busan demonstrated many of the improvements OSPR implemented and highlighted another improvement opportunity, the establishment of a risk-based bunkering and lightering monitoring program supported by AB 1112. We are seeing great success with this program. Our monitorings have nearly doubled each year since 2009, and the number of spills during bunkering and lightering activities has been reduced from 3 and 4 in calendar years 9 and 10 respectively to 0 for the last 2.5 years. As I stated in my earlier remarks, OSPR began a Best Achievable Protection and Best Achievable Technology review after the Costa Busan incident that was suspended due to response to the Deepwater Horizon event. Resumption of this work is now very timely, and we look forward to re-engaging our stakeholder work group to participate in this ongoing review. In summary, I am convinced that OSPR has made significant improvements across all facets of oil spill prevention, preparedness, and response. Our participation in oil spill drills and exercises has increased significantly since the program was established in 2008, with OSPR personnel participating in nearly 90% of all spill exercises. Additionally, our partnerships with local governments, non-governmental environmental groups, and other stakeholders has never been stronger. And most importantly, the number of oil spills into California's marine waters has gone down. OSPR's primary mandates direct most of its activities and budget toward preventing oil spills from occurring, minimizing the environmental injuries resulting from spills when they do occur, And finally, mitigating the environmental injury through restoration. OSPR utilizes a variety of quantitative metrics and qualitative records for indicating overall program effectiveness, such as decreasing oil spills, improving spill responses, increasing participation in spills and exercises, maintaining and enhancing spill response community relationships, ensuring industry compliance, evaluating and advocating better spill technologies, minimizing spill impacts to our valuable resources. Regarding how we best allocate our limited resources, our activities and priorities are always driven by the standard of best achievable protection. The policies, programs, and other components that contribute toward meeting this standard is carried out through internal and external evaluation processes, review of technical information and literature, and analyzing spill outcomes, both in California and worldwide. It is a continuing, iterative, and inclusive process. I will also note that as administrator under the Best Achievable Protection Standard, I am specifically precluded from utilizing cost-benefit or cost-effectiveness analysis in determining which measures provide the best achievable protection. Critical specific activities and programs that OSPR funds in no particular order are the OWCN, Certificates of Financial Responsibility Program, the Drills and Exercises Program, Incident Command System Position Qualifications, Sensitive Site Strategy Evaluation Program, a Petroleum Chemistry Laboratory, the Oil Spill Technical Advisory Committee, Prevention through Managing Vessel and Facility Risks, and strong contingency planning at the plan holder as well as local, regional, and national levels. These activities and programs are enhanced by a strong OSPR presence in the field using a close-knit triad of environmental scientists, spill prevention specialists, and enforcement officers. Again, I thank you for allowing me to answer your questions about our program.
Thank you. Do you have a comment or a response to the audit recommendation with respect to organizational conflicts?
And I apologize, sir. When I prepared my remarks, I was, I think, mainly responding to the BSA audit of August last year, and I believe these were mainly the DOF audit responses. So I made a couple of notes. As far as the organizational relationship, I couldn't enjoy a better relationship with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, particularly with respect to those agreements that we put in writing between the various branches that are straight-lined to the department, enforcement, administrative, and IT. A couple notes I did make, though, on the Chief Auditor's remarks on the training standards. Most of our training that we are very diligent in making sure that we ensure our folks are prepared for is with respect to our first response mandates, our incident command system. And we have that in writing, and we believe that everybody that comes to OSPR does achieve that level of specific training in a reasonable amount of time. The audit pointed out our own list of other non-first response training for perhaps Microsoft Outlook and other kinds of trainings like that. So we could go and say, well, we don't require those anymore, and all of a sudden be 100%. Or, we are doing better now to make sure that our folks are learning the best way to work within their new jobs at the office.
My question was really the organizational conflicts.
I'm sorry.
The
last one?
Yeah, and it's a good thing to strengthen the communication and relationship with Fish and Wildlife, and for Ms. O'Casey as well, if you could address this in your comment, there was a question brought up about potential overlap, conflict, duplication of responsibilities. I mean, they recommended taking a look at that structure and making sure that we're being as efficient as possible now that we've learned more since the Act was passed.
And I think that's a very valid finding, and one that myself and Director Bonham at the department, the State Lands Commission, we all agree that, we can always look for better ways to work together, especially with the emerging challenges, and we do appreciate that. There is certainly a conflict between Lempert Keene and the code that was passed, and fortunately, with the personalities we have in place, a very supportive and open-minded director, and with me coming on, we're committed to finding the best solution, and are looking at that, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Okay. Other questions? Ms. Atkins.
Thank you. And again, if I missed it before, forgive me. But in terms of preparedness and response, what is your relationship with military facilities and installations? In San Diego, we have multiple ones with underground fuel lines that service the ships, et cetera. So do they do that response on their own? And how do they work? How does the military work with the state in situations like that?
And I'd be happy to give you some more detail. I can go and get some more detail on that information, ma'am. But I was just down in San Diego 2 weeks ago visiting the captain of the port with the Coast Guard, who we enjoy, of course, a very, very strong relationship. And I know that they've made tremendous progress, in San Diego working with the Navy. We do, have the Navy at our various planning meetings, the Harbor Safety Committee, the Area Contingency Plan meetings, and there has been, significant progress in the recent year. But I would be happy to provide some of that detail with.
But it sounds to me like there's no direct link. Is it just communication? How, in terms of response, if there needed to be a response in San Diego Bay, and it's a military leak, if who responds?
Well, the whole response committee that I talked about earlier on, it would be a federal, state, local responsible party, in that case the Navy, that would respond. I have no concerns about a spill in San Diego Harbor going unattended or a slow response because it was a Navy-generated spill.
Okay. Again, forgive me for missing your response before.
But I'll be happy to provide you more information.
All right. Thank you.